Okay, Assalamualaikum everybody. Alright, now kita continue the repetition since our class this morning. Okay, kita ada sedikit technical problem, so saya record this lecture. So this class actually kita akan continue on repetition. As you can remember that we have learned one repetition statement, that is for statement, and then we have done some exercise and also some assignment on for loop only. However, okay, there are two more repetition statement that we need to know. Okay, we'll look at 5.1 is the introduction, and then 5.2 is the for loop, and then nested for loop. Okay, we will look into nested for loop and a bit on repeat on ataupun kita refresh on our for loop. Okay, and then a bit kita akan tengok, and then the third one is we will learn about the while loop, to use while loop statement. And then in this while loop statement there are two types. The first one is the counter control while loops, and the second one is sentinel control while loop. Okay, and the last loop statement is do while statement. Yang ni pun also kita akan tengok how to write a repetition punya task using do while loop. And then the final one is the break and continue statement. Actually, we have learned about break statement before this, and continue also we will look into it afterwards, and we will look at examples. Okay, so now this is one example. Okay, C++ program, and in this program there is a for loop. Okay, now let's observe this program for a while. Okay, let's look at the comment here. Okay, this program calculate the average of max count user entered numbers. Okay, we will look at example how to use cin in a for loop. As you can recall, you can remember cin is we are asking the user to key in any value. Alright, so the purpose of this program is the user will key in a few numbers that is determined by this program, that they need the max count is equal to 5. We'll look into it afterwards. And then we will calculate the total of the numbers entered by the user, and then we will we will see how to calculate to compute the average for the total. Okay, so int main and then constant int max count is equal 5. So max count is given value 5, and then int count. Count here means that it is the counter to control the loop. Okay, previously before this we are using inti, but in this program we are using, instead of we are using count as the counter for the loop. And then we have here double num. Num is for the user to key in, okay, the variable num, and then total and also average. And then we give initial value of total equal to 0.0. Okay, now for count equal to 0, count less than max count. Max count is 5, yeah? And then count plus plus. So if this count is less than 5, then if this is true, then cout enter a number, and then cin the user will need to key in a value, and then total is equal to total plus number. For the first time, total is equal to 0, so 0 plus number that was entered by the user, and this will be repeated 5 times. Okay, so because the max count is equal to 5. Right, then if the loop we have finished, the loop has finished. Okay, then we will look at average is equal to total divided by count. Count here is taken from here, and the final value of count is 5, where the loop stops when the max count, the count is equal to 5. Yeah. And then average is equal total which was calculated here, and then divided by 5. And then see out the average of third is exercise, this example in your C++ and try to look at how the Cin works in a loop. Right now, next we will look at nested loop. Okay, nested loop is loop dalam loop. Dalam loop ada loop. Okay, so if you observe this program, okay, I'll give you some time to observe the program. Okay, if you can see that we have two for statements. One for I and the second one is for J. Okay, the I loop is actually the starting of outer loop. This is I ni adalah outer loop. And then J is the inner loop. So nested loop work such that the complete the loop first. Okay, mula-mula kita panggil the outer loop. If the condition is true, the loop will execute. And then if it finds the inner loop, okay, the inner loop will iterate, will continue looping until it finish. Then only we will repeat the second iteration for the outer loop. Okay, let's look at the example here. Okay, trace the following program. Okay, int main for int equal to 1, I less or equal to 3, and I plus plus. Okay, then if I less than 3, I is 1 lah value dia. Yes, I 1 memang less than 3. So dia akan masuk sini lah. Dia jumpa one more inner loop. So dia akan kata J equal to 1. So adakah 1 less or equal to 2? Yes. Okay, so dia akan display J that is 1. 1, dia akan buat inner. Okay, and then they go to the next line. Dia akan datang sini. Now, J is equal to 2. Okay, because J tadi 1 plus 1 is 2. Adakah J less or equal to? Yes. So, dia akan buat 2 inner. So, now J becomes 3. So, dia akan check lagi. Is 3 less or equal to? No. Bila no, dia akan keluar from this loop and comes here. So, now I tadi is 1. So, dia akan display 1 outer. So, now iterate another time. 1 plus 1 is 2. So, now I is 2. 2 less than 3? Yes. So, dia akan masuk sini. Dia akan buat the same thing. Then, dia akan bila dah habis task ni, dia akan come here. 2 and then outer, then come here again. 2 plus 1 is 3. So, dia akan iterate. Okay, please also try this example, okay, to understand the nested loop. Okay. Alright, so we have looked into nested loop. Now kita akan go to the second types of loop statement, that is a while loop. Right, while loop is required for repetitive execution that cannot be determined in advance. Okay, kalau macam for loop tu, we already know that if the condition less than 3, for example, dia hanya nak buat 3 kali saja. 0, 1, 2. Okay, less than 3 is sampai 2 sajalah. 3 times only. So, for loop tu already know how many times the loop will iterate. But however, for while loop can be used if the repetition ataupun iteration of the loop is cannot be determined in advance. Okay, we will look at example. Okay, basically the syntax ialah while and then condition. Okay, if this condition is true, then akan masuk dalam loop ni lah. Then we'll do this statement. Okay, statement can be simple or compound. The body of the loop condition acts as a decision maker lah, and is usually a logical expression. And ni ada apa parenthesis ni is part of the syntax. Okay, now let's look at this example. Before that, we will look at the flowchart to represent the while loop. Okay, so let's look at this is start, and then expression. If it is true, then statement, then dia akan ulang lagi lah. And then if this is false, expression is false, dia akan jump out from the loop. Okay, that is the general syntax of a while loop. Okay, while loop, it has two types. Okay, one is counter control while loop. Okay, if you know exactly how many pieces of data need to be read, okay, the while loop becomes a counter control loop. This is similar to for loop. Kita tahu berapa kali nak the loop nak iterate, then kita akan gunakan counter control while loop. Okay, so if we can still recall, for loop dia ada initial value. So macam for int I equal to 0. So that is to initialize the loop control variable. So this one is counter, example counter equal to 0. This one is the initial lah. And then while counter less n to test the loop control variable. Yang ni the condition, if this is true, then baru dia akan buat statement ni. And then this counter plus plus is to update the loop control variable. It is similar to for statement. However, we are using, instead of for statement, we are using while. Then dia mesti ada initialize the loop control variable, and then the condition to stop, okay, to stop the loop, and then the statement if the loop is true, and then also the update the loop control variable. Okay, now let's look at one example here. Let's say we want to print hello 3 times. You already know that we want to print statement hello 3 times, 3 kali. Okay, so obviously we put here, okay, the initial, let's say counter equal to 0. Okay, while counter less than 3, because kita nak buat 3 times. So we start with 0, 1, 2. Okay, so kalau counter less than 3 ni, last kali adalah 2 lah. Okay, so 0, 1, 2 means that 3 times. So see out hello, because we want to print hello. So see out hello, and then update counter plus plus, and then tutup. Then this is the example of writing a program to print hello 3 times. Okay, now let's look at the tracing table lah, macam biasa lah. Okay, counter 0, and then if counter less than 3, if it is true, then you print hello. And then actually we should have one more column here for update. Now counter becomes 1 because our update is plus plus. Okay. Okay, now counter becomes 1. Okay, if 1 less than 3, yes, so you print hello. Now counter becomes 2. Okay, true. If this is true, then it will print another hello. Now 3. Okay, is counter less than 3? No, mean false. So they stop lah. They akan jump out from the loop. So print hello 3 times is this is how you write the program to print hello 3 times by using while statement. Okay. Okay, now example, if you want to display all odd numbers from 1 to 9. Okay, so kita result dia should be 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, so counter dia should start with 1 lah. Okay, so and then update dia, odd numbers is 1, nak dapatkan 3, you need to add 2. Okay, so counter is equal to counter plus 2. Okay, sekejap Okay, alright, so okay, because okay, we want to display all odd numbers from 1 to 9. Okay, so counter equal to 1, while counter less 10. Okay, so kita akan display counter lah. because dia akan display this counter value, and then counter is equal to counter plus 2. Jadi this is the update punya value lah, and then end while. So if we trace this table, okay, counter equal to 1. If 1 less than 10 true, then you will write counter tu nilai dia 1. 1 plus 2, now it becomes 3, and so on dia buat sehingga counter becomes 9. Then it is true, then you will write 9. Now 9 plus 2 is 11. Adakah 11 less than 10? No, so dia akan jump out from the loop. And the output is 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Okay, that is example for counter control loop. Okay, this is another example. Okay, another example. Okay, please try this example. Okay, using your dev C++. Okay, now kita nak tengok example cin. Okay, dalam while loop kita ada cin. We want the user to key in some value. Okay, dalam loop. Alright, so this one dia punya okay, int main constant integer max nums is equal to 4. So max num ni actually number dia adalah 4. Why actually dia nak kita letakkan some program, dia letakkan counter punya maximum number ni dekat sini, because kita tak perlu study detail of the program. Kalau kita nak tukar dia jadi 10 ke apa, terus dekat atas ni kita boleh tukar. Okay, and then int count double num. Okay, this program will ask you to enter maximum number, so 4 numbers lah. Okay, so kita enter 4 numbers. Then count, this one is the initial value for the loop. Count equal to 1. Okay, and then while 1 less or equal 4, true, and then dia akan masuk sini lah. Enter a number. So you masuk lah, let's say masuk 100. And then the number enter is 100. Then count becomes 1. Sebab dia nak kita allow for user to key in only 4 numbers. Okay, so now count becomes 2. Is 2 less than 4? Yes. Now enter a number. You put maybe 200. Then the number enter is 200. Then count becomes 3. If 3 less than 4, yes, buat lagi. Then count becomes 4. Is 4 less than 4? Yes, buat lagi. Okay, now count become 5. Adakah 5 less or equal 4? No, so they jump out. Okay, this one suitable for like problem macam key in your pin number 3 times. So macam mana? So maximum number ni you allow only for 3. So dalam ni samalah, if count equal to 1, while count less or equal maximum number, tadi kita dah put 3, and then enter a pin number. Okay, so you boleh enter lah. Dan seterusnya lah dia akan check whether kalau your number key in to match dengan yang dalam card tu, so dia akan break lah dan keluar from the loop. If not, dia akan ulang 3 kali. Okay, that is how the programmer ataupun developer of mana-mana sistem yang ada similar to key in password ke pin number, dia tulis this kind of program. Okay. Okay, ini tadi kita dah buat tadi. This is the sample run pada program tadi. Okay, now the second type of while loop. Okay, that is Sentinel control while loop. Okay, Sentinel control while loop ni we cannot determine how many times the loop will iterate ataupun execute. Okay, for example, Sentinel control while loops. Sentinel variable is tested in the condition and loop ends when Sentinel is encountered. Kita bagi syarat untuk stopkan loop tersebut. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the syntax. Cin variable. Okay, while variable not equal Sentinel. Okay, kalau true then dia akan buat, and then dalam ni kena cin lagi. And then baru dia akan iterate, and then they check whether yang currently, yang latest yang cin tu, okay, adakah not equal to Sentinel. If yes, dia akan buat. Tapi if it is equal, So they will jump out from this loop. Okay, now let's look at example. Okay, let's observe this program. Okay, same ya. Program ni also will find average of integers yang kita value yang kita masukkan itu, dia akan calculate average. Okay, kat sini we cannot determine how many numbers yang average kan, kita akan average is equal to sum divided by bilangan number. So kalau guna sentinel value, kita just key in number tersebut, tak kira berapa pun, tapi our program will capture how many times we key in the number. So this is one example macam mana nak buat. Okay, so let's look at this program. Double average, int number, counter equal to 0, sum equal to 0. Okay, and then see out, this program will find the average of integers you enter through the keyboard. Type 9 indicate end of data. So di sini the sentinel value ialah 999 because 999 inilah yang akan digunakan untuk stop this loop. Okay, now see out, please enter a number. So you see in number, you masukkan satu number. Okay, while number yang you masukkan itu is not equal to 999, let's say kita masukkan 50 kat sini. Adakah 50 not equal 999? Betul lah, true ya, true. So you masuk dalam ni, okay. Sum is equal, ya, tengok first sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to sum plus number. So 0 plus 50. Now sum yang baru adalah value 50. Counter tadi kosong ya. So counter plus plus, counter tu meaning satu number dah masuk. So counter now becomes 1. Okay, now please enter the next number. So you see in, let's say you see in 100. Okay, so dia akan iterate this while loop. Adakah 100 not equal to 999? False. True kan? Memang 100 tak sama dengan 99, betul. So dia akan masuk. Sum is equal to sum plus number. Tadi sum tu adalah 50. 50 plus 100. Ya, sebab you key in tadi ada 100. 150. New value for sum is 150. Counter tadi 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so 2. Now please enter the next number. You masukkan, let's say 999. Okay, kat sini. So dia akan check. Adakah 999 tak sama 999? Salah 999 adalah sama dengan 999. So false. False kat sini terus dia keluar and come here. So dia akan calculate average is equal to static cast double sum over static cast double counter. Counter tadi adalah berapa? Berapa tadi? So kita dah masukkan tadi 50 and 100. 2 lah kan. Counter ada 2 sebab 999 tu dia tak sempat nak pusing untuk plus 1. Dia hanya terus berhenti kat sini aja, lompat keluar. Okay, now average. Okay, why do we have this static cast double? Because sum tadi kita declare dalam int. However, average ni normally kalau over bahagi, dia mesti ada decimal point. Kalau you buat juga int average, bila yang melibatkan kosong, okay, let's say 0.5 jawapan dia. So kalau int nanti result dia you akan jadi forever 0. So you need to doublekan average tu. So kita nak convert sum itu ada jadikan double. So kita buat macam ni. So sum double, static cast double for counter also berapa kali pun 2 sebab average ni dalam double. So kita nak semua ni dalam double. So see out, the average of the number is average. Okay, so dia akan display result yang kita inilah tadi kita program yang dah kira tadi. Okay, that is sentinel value. Okay, that kita dah tengok tadi while loop, and now kita nak go to the last repetition punya statement. That is a do statement, do while actually. Okay, a repetition statement that evaluates an expression at the end of the statement. Okay, buat dulu and then dah habis tu evaluate, if true baru loop tu akan jalan. pusing iterate. If not, if false, dia akan keluar keluar pada loop tu lah. Okay. Allow some statements to be executed before an expression is evaluated. For and while evaluate an expression at beginning. For dengan while ni dia akan akan test dulu condition tu. Kalau true baru dia akan buat. Tapi do statement ni dia akan buat dulu and then at the end baru dia akan test condition. Kalau true baru dia akan repeat. Let's look at the syntax. Okay, the general form of a do while statement is do and then statement buat. Okay, sebab kat sini tak ada test apa-apa pun. So, terus buat statement ni and then while expression ini adalah true, okay, and then baru dia akan repeat for the second time. We will look at example then we can understand. Okay, the statement execute first and then expression is evaluated. If the expression evaluates to true, the statement executes again. Okay, kalau expression ni true, macam saya bagi tahu tadi, dia akan buat semula statement ini. Okay, as long as the expression in do while statement is true, the statement executes. Okay, this is the flow chart for do while. Okay, statement dulu and then baru evaluate expression tu. Kalau true, buat semula. False, dia akan keluar daripada loop ini. Okay, now let's look at one example. Okay, implementation using do while loop. Okay, ini ada typo, ada missing sini. Sepatutnya ini adalah do while statement. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, counter equal to 0. Okay, and then terus dia punya syntax do. And then curly bracket. Okay, curly bracket and then kita nak dia display cout hello. And then counter tu akan +1. While counter tu yang kita +1 tadi less than 3, dia akan, kalau true dia akan pusing balik, dia akan tulis hello. Let's look at the tracing table. So counter start with 0. Okay, first kali dia tak evaluate kan kat sini. Dia terus buat cout hello. So cout hello. And then counter +1 now, counter becomes 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Dia akan check lah, adakah 1 less than 3? Ya, true. So dia akan pusing sini. Kalau true, dia akan pusing sini. Dia akan display hello. Now counter +1 is 2. Okay, dia akan check, adakah 2 less than 3? Yes, true So dia kalau true ni, dia pusing balik, tulis hello sini. Okay, now counter +1 is 3. Adakah 3 less than 3? No, it's not true False. So terus berhentilah. So result dia adalah hello, hello, hello 3 times. Okay, so this is an example for do while statement. Okay, now do while statement. Okay, so kita nak tengok display all odd numbers from 1 to 9. Okay, by using do while statement. So kalau nak start dengan 1, kita akan letakkan counter equal to 1. Okay, counter equal to 1 and then do, and then curly bracket, tutup curly bracket, cout counter. So dia akan display nilai counter ni lah 1. And then counter tu you need to update dia 1 plus 2 counter is plus equal to means that counter equal to counter plus 2. Tadi 1 plus 2 is 3. Now dia akan check, adakah 3 less than 10? Yes. So dia akan, kalau true, dia akan tulis 3. Now plus 2 lagi 5. Adakah 5 less than 10? Ini also, this one is patutnya 10 counter 10. Ini saya ambil daripada mana punya slide ni, terlupa update ni. Okay, so now see out. Sekejap lagi saya akan tukar. Okay, now so true 5. Okay, now 5 plus 2, dia akan iterate lah sampai kepada dia this loop meets 11. Kalau 11 not less than 10, so false, dia akan lompat keluar lah. So the result will be 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Okay, nanti saya akan betulkan ini don't worry I will give you a correct one. Okay, now let's look at one more example. Okay, this one is using do while loop juga. Okay, yang ni like macam game guessing number. Okay, katakan kita ada buat satu untuk kanak-kanak datang untuk guna komputer, dia akan test komputer simpan number apa. Okay, this is the program lah you boleh buat. So katakan we set the number yang komputer simpan tu as 14. Okay, and then guess ni adalah untuk budak tu masukkan number apa yang dia agak komputer simpan. Okay, so now let's check. When you run the program, dia kata guess a number between 1 and 20. So do, okay, sebab kita akan bagi banyak kali that child to test sampai dia jumpa number yang betul. Okay, so yang tu kita tak determine how many times. So this one is like using a sentinel jugalah. As long as they match number yang komputer simpan, then kita akan cakap betul. Okay, so do enter your guess. So see in guess. Okay, when you run, dia akan keluar lah enter your guess. So let's say the student masuk number 10. Okay, number 10, so computer simpan number 14. So if 10 greater than 14, okay, 10 is not greater than 14, so dia tak akan letak too high. So this one will not be executed for this if statement. But this one, if 10 less than 14 is true, so dia akan display too low. Memang 10 is lower than 14. Okay, now while guess tadi 10, okay, 10 tadi not equal to 14, true. So dia akan pusing balik. Enter your guess. Okay, let's say the student enter 19. Okay, adakah 19 greater than 14? Simpan di sini. So yes, so dia akan display too high. Adakah 19 less than 14? No, so dia tak buat ni lah. So now dia check adakah 19 not equal to 14? True, dia akan pusing balik. Enter your guess. Now the child put 14. So dia check lah adakah 14 greater than 14? No. So dia tak buat. Adakah 14 less than 14? Also no, dia tak akan tulis yang ni. So dia kemudian dia turun bawah. Adakah 14 not equal to 14? False kan? 14 adalah equal to 14. So bila false, dia akan turun kat sini. You win. The answer is 14 tu lah yang kat sini. So this is how you one kind of a game kalau ada siapa yang nak buat program guessing numbers. Okay, by using do while loop. Okay, now let's look at break and continue statement. Kita dah tengok itu hari tu break dalam lab A break statement forces an immediate exit when execute in a while, for, do while ataupun switch statement. Okay, a continue statement skips the remaining statement in the body of the structure and proceeds with the next iteration of the loop. Okay, now kita tengok example. Okay, example ini meaning that macam ni kalau continue, dia kata kalau continue ni skips the remaining statement of the body of the structure and proceed with the next iteration of the loop. Okay, so kita tengok sini. Okay, this one by using while loop. Okay, kita sini ada int answer start equal to 1. Okay, while start 1 less or equal 5. Okay, yes. So dia kata on the scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate Siti Nurhaliza? So in answer. So kita masukkan answer lah. Katakan kita masukkan 3. Ni orang yang neutral. Dia minat pun tak minat pun tak. So adakah 3 greater than 2? Yes. So kalau yes dia masuk sini, see out. Are you sure? Okay, are you sure? So start tadi adalah 1 jadi 2. So continue. So dia akan pusing balik. Okay. Okay, now let's say dia akan pusing lagi lah. Start now, start jadi 2 pula. Adakah 2 less or equal 5? Okay. So yes, so they can continue on what scale you rate Siti Nurhaliza. Let's say kita nak jadikan dia, okay, katakan kita nak dia one, answer one. So answer, kalau answer tu one, okay, adakah one greater than two? No, kalau no tu dia tak buat yang ni, so dia akan tanya good judgment, so break, terus berhenti, dia tak sambung dah. Okay, so I think kita try this one in Dev C++, okay, for rating Siti Nurhaliza ni lah. Ini bukan saya buat program ni, saya just ambil daripada buku previous slide lah. Bukan buku ni, I think kalau Siti Nurhaliza ni somewhere lah from a slide before this previous slide. Okay, that is kita dah cover for loop, while loop and do while. Kita dah get to know what is counter control loop and also sentinel loop. And but untuk loop ini, it is very important, especially while loop, especially kalau kita ada dalam your past year question tu, kita ada soalan yang suruh buat sehingga the user says not no, maknanya kita akan continue buat sehingga user cakap tak nak continue, dan kita break the loop. So you need to know how to write while loop very properly. Okay, that's all. Nanti saya akan bagi exercise, and I want you to test all these example in this slide so that you can understand better. Okay, that's all. Assalamualaikum.